Hello, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Reese, I talk about books, and today I'm talking about curating what you read. I want to chat about why I think setting a personal reading curriculum is a worthwhile endeavor, what that even means, and also chat about what I am doing for myself in that regard. Yeah, setting my own personal reading plan, my goals, some books that I want to read, and how I arrived at this idea in the first place. Does this sound like school? Yeah, I guess. But actually, I think about it more like being intentional with reading. And while I personally love to unwind and relax with reading, I also like to read because I want it to make me a better writer. So I am building a plan to help me, hopefully, do that. What got me to really double down on this idea was the creator Classically Claire. Her content popped up in my Instagram feed. I think she also has a TikTok. And yeah, I just was really inspired by this idea. I think there's been articles written about it. I'm sure other people have talked about it. But yeah, I was like, it's time. I've been dancing around this for a while, thinking about doing something like this, but I just haven't committed. So, yeah, it's one thing to say you're gonna do it, and then it's another thing to actually sit down and create like a little plan. And that is what I have done. So let's think about it in terms of my goal, my plan, and then the books. So you may have guessed already what my goal is because I think I mentioned it here. I've probably talked about it many times. Yeah, I want to be a better writer. And I thought, what would help me do that other than, actually writing? For me, it's practicing thinking critically about what I am reading, and also a little bit of reinforcing the foundation of my literary knowledge. So with this in mind, I've devised a plan, which is reading 10 books that I was probably assigned to read in high school at the rate of one per month. That's it. I'm just gonna pepper them into what I'm already reading because as a, I guess, sort of mood reader, there's no way that I could say, you know what, I'm not reading another book until I read all of these 10 books, because that's a recipe for me procrastinating, basically. Okay, so that's the crux of the plan. But what is also very important to this plan is annotation, taking like real notes while I'm reading. I kind of do this, but not really. I underline things and I have thoughts, and maybe I write them down to chat about them here, but I don't go so in depth to like the symbolism of this and the character arc of this. It's really only if it like surfaces in my brain, and we can't trust my brain because there's a lot going on in there. So, yeah, I really want to practice annotating with the hope that it's going to make me just start thinking that way with everything else that I read. And then to read what I'm calling additional discourse about each book. Maybe 2-ish articles. Could be one before, could be one after, and it could be a range of, a key theme or character analysis, another author's take on something, just something to support me learning and thinking more critically. And I could do this with any book that I'm reading or want to read right now, but I chose to pick what I'm calling like the heavy hitters because I know that there will be information about them out there. Like, guaranteed, any thought that I have about one of these books, somebody else will have already written, many people have already written things about it. And so, you know, in this phase of me feeling more confident doing this, it will be helpful to just pick popular books. And then also, like, the high school thing, maybe that's because I have a little chip on my shoulder about not taking my literature courses in high school and subsequently college more seriously. But let's not dwell on that here. Let's just enjoy setting a personal curriculum. And now the books. I went back and forth on this 10. I referenced many lists. I, in the end, went with my own gut. A combination of NPR's books that moved you the most in high school. I'm not sure. That's probably the title. I'll link it. And then also things that I remember, you know, some of which are books that I still have, my high school copies, so that'll be fun. Okay, and these books are, in no particular order, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I've never read this book. It seems crazy. It seems like somehow I dodged reading this in high school. I know the story, of course, but I feel like it's important to read it. Not because this is a genre that I want to write in or anything like that, but just, you know, again, setting a foundation, reinforcing a literary foundation. Number 2, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is one of the books that I read in high school, still have my high school copy, was flipping through it briefly, saw some of the notes that I wrote in there, had a little chuckle. I'm excited for this one. I think Gothic literature, I kind of know what that is, but I kind of don't, and I feel like this is, you know, a foundational example of it. There is also a really great podcast about how this was written, the story of how it was written, and yeah, just so fascinating. And then we have Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Again, never read this. Somehow, me, a person who loves ships and the sea, and yeah, never read it. I think obsession and that theme that I believe is present in this book is something that I've played around with in my writing, so I'm looking forward to that. This feels like maybe an important work in that theme. It also feels like a universal story. I don't know what I was reading or some movie I was watching, but they were like, yeah, it's basically a retelling of this, but not about whaling and not like, yeah. And so I'm excited for this one. I don't know anything about the writing style. Hopefully it's not a slog. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Next up, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel García Márquez. Also, never read this one. I'm pretty sure magical realism plays a role in this one. That is a genre that I'm interested in sort of writing around. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I've read other works of magical realism. It's a multi-generational story, which is also really intriguing to me. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should have been assigned this in high school, but I guess I wasn't. Again, somehow I dodged this. Then we have Beloved by Toni Morrison. I don't think I read this one. Yeah, I don't, maybe I did read this. I don't know. I was probably assigned this in high school. That's what the title of this list is. But I do think that Toni Morrison is like a top tier writer, and so this book is one that was shown on like all of the lists I was referencing of like, you gotta read this book. This book is like required reading for, and so yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm looking forward to it. Then we have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I definitely read this in high school. I have vague memories. I actually have a very distinct memory of reading it sitting on the couch. It's just, this is all coming back to me right now. When I was making this list, it was either this or Catcher in the Rye, and I don't know, this one won out for some reason. I feel like this book and that book are like quintessential, like, what did you read in high school? It was on this list. So yeah, again, just remembering that foundation. There will be so much written about it. I think it'll be great. Then we have East of Eden by John Steinbeck. It was between this and The Grapes of Wrath, but I happen to own a copy of East of Eden, so we're going with that. And yeah, I probably read Grapes of Wrath in high school. Or maybe like an excerpt of it. I don't really remember that much. I'm looking forward to it because I'm from California, and Steinbeck, California. I don't know. Yeah, I know it's really long. A lot of people have said it's one of their favorite books. Yeah, should be good. We also have To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I definitely read this in high school. I definitely don't remember it. This one I could have maybe swapped with another book, but I don't know. I think like it's just one of those like quintessential high school books that if it were to come up in a conversation and I would feel like, oh man, like I don't know that much about that. And I feel like there is an author that is not on here, which I'll just share. No Shakespeare on this list. I think there's one more book that I'm going to talk about. Yeah, no Shakespeare on this list. I've definitely read Shakespeare. That is like a whole nother curriculum that I would go into, a whole nother list. To do that right and to do it justice, I would put that in its own little bucket. And I also feel like I could kind of get away with like, oh yeah, I read that in high school, but I just don't have I don't remember much. So yeah. And then the last book, last but not least, is 1984 by George Orwell. I think I've read this too. Maybe not. I had to have read this. I don't remember it. I mean, I know all the like, I know what it's about, of course. And yeah, I mean, this is one of those foundational dystopian fiction novels. I did think about making this curriculum just on like the core foundational dystopian fiction stories because that's a genre that I really enjoy reading. But I decided, maybe that's personal curriculum 2.0. Maybe that's semester 2. Because, like I said, I want to support my foundational literary knowledge, and yeah, that's what I hope these books will help me do. That's it. Those are my 10 books. That is my plan, and that's my goal. Read these, think critically about them, do some research outside of just reading them, and hopefully, become a better writer in the process. Even 1% better. I mean, 1% better would actually be pretty amazing. I don't know how I'm going to measure this at all, but I think I'll feel a sense of accomplishment after coming out on the other side of this. Personal curriculum, I think it's a great idea. Of course I'm going to love this. I love back to school time kind of person. I would be a forever student if I could afford to do that, but kind of can't. But actually, I can be a forever student by creating my own personal curriculum, reflecting, annotating, and continuing to do what it is that I do here, which is talk about books with you all and, yeah, learn something by reading, expand my literary horizons by reading. So I'm gonna leave you there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a great day, weekend, week. I hope you're enjoying what you are reading. Let me know if you have thoughts on a personal curriculum, if it's something you're interested in, or if you feel like you already kind of do it already. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!